Have you ever had that feeling? You know the one. You look around and everything in your life is, well, it's fine, it's good even, but there's this weird, nagging feeling of emptiness inside. Today, we're going to get into exactly what that is, why so many of us feel it, and what it's trying to tell us.
Okay, so let's just jump right in with the central paradox of our time. For pretty much all of human history, the big challenge was just staying alive. It was an external fight. But now, for so many of us, the fight has moved inward. The struggle isn't just to survive, it's to actually feel alive. And that one little shift, it explains almost everything.
And this leads us to what you could call the comfort paradox. I mean, think about it. We are living in the safest, most comfortable, choice-filled time in the history of the world. And yet, anxiety, depression, this feeling that something's off, it's everywhere. How does that make any sense?
And this is the quiet question that just loops in the back of your mind, isn't it? You do a mental checklist of your life. You've got a home, you've got food, you're safe, and you think, I should be happy. I should be grateful. But there's still this void. If you feel that, trust me, you are not the only one.
So to really get to the bottom of this, we need to zoom out, way, way out. We have to understand just how bizarre, how completely abnormal our modern world actually is from a historical perspective. For 300,000 years, I mean, that's basically the entire story of us, of Homo sapiens, life was about one thing and one thing only: survival. Every single day was a battle. And that wasn't just a brief period. It was the reality that literally forged our minds and bodies. And here's the wild part. All those terrible, harsh conditions, they gave us something we've now lost: an automatic purpose. You didn't wake up and have an existential crisis about what to do with your life. Life told you what to do. Your meaning was right there, staring you in the face. Find food, protect your family, don't die. It was simple. It was clear. And then poof. In just the last 100 years or so, which is nothing, it's an evolutionary blink of an eye, the entire game changed. The goal of life went from survival to comfort. This is, without a doubt, the most radical environmental shift our species has ever gone through. You could say we've been running this massive, uncontrolled experiment on ourselves. We took away all the old pressures, the constant struggle, the clear roles, the closeness to life and death, and we swapped them out for a totally new set of ingredients: comfort, endless choice, and a deep sense of safety. And guess what? We're the lab rats.
Okay, and this gets us right to the heart of the problem. It's a mismatch. Your brain is a piece of hardware that was perfectly designed for a world that, for the most part, doesn't exist anymore. We're running ancient software in a brand new operating system, and it's causing glitches.
I mean, just think about what your brain is. It's a magnificent problem-solving machine. It was built to scan for threats, to overcome challenges, to push against resistance. Our brains don't just like effort. They extract a feeling of meaning from it. Meaning wasn't something you had to find. It was the natural reward for a struggle well fought. So what happens when that highly tuned machine is sitting in a safe, comfortable room? It sends out this really confusing error message. All its alarm systems are on, but there's no fire. It creates this deep internal paradox. I know I'm safe, so why do I feel like something is terribly wrong? And this is so important to get. When a problem-solving brain can't find a problem out there in the world, it doesn't just shut off. It turns inward. It starts analyzing you. You become the problem to be solved. And that's where all this stuff comes from: the anxiety, the overthinking, the self-criticism. It's not a flaw in your character. It's your brain doing its job in a world without obvious jobs for it to do.
Now, what's really fascinating is that this isn't some new 21st century discovery. Some of the greatest thinkers in history basically predicted this entire situation hundreds of years ago. They were like prophets of this modern emptiness.
Take Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust. He called it the existential vacuum. He saw that when people lose a clear sense of meaning, they fall into this state of profound boredom and apathy, and they try to fill that hole with anything: pleasure, shopping, distractions, but of course, none of it ever works. The philosopher Nietzsche had this chilling vision of what he called the last man. This was his nightmare for humanity's future: a person who values nothing more than their own comfort, who avoids any and all suffering, a person for whom safety has replaced courage as the ultimate goal. Sound familiar? Soren Kierkegaard gave us this absolute gem.
He said anxiety isn't some kind of malfunction, it's the dizziness of freedom. Think about that. When you can be anything, go anywhere, do anything, but have no compelling reason to do one over the other, you just get dizzy. You freeze. That feeling, that's modern anxiety. And then there's Schopenhauer, who argued that life is basically a pendulum swinging back and forth between two states, pain and boredom. His big idea was that, in our quest to eliminate all the external pain and struggle, we weren't creating happiness, we were just creating a whole lot more boredom. But what makes all of this 100 times worse, what really twists the knife, is the shame that comes with it. This is a problem that we all feel so deeply, but we almost never talk about out loud. I bet you've heard this voice before, haven't you? It's that little critic in your head that says you're being selfish or ungrateful, or that you're just broken because you feel empty when your life is objectively good. That shame is what keeps us isolated, thinking we're the only ones. All right, so let's pull all these threads together. Let's reframe this whole thing. Because what if that feeling of emptiness isn't a sign that you're broken? What if it's not a bug, but a feature? What if it's a message? If you take away just one thing today, please let it be this. This feeling is not your fault. Let me say that again. It is not a personal failure. It is a completely logical, predictable response to a structural problem. The problem isn't you, it's the environment we're living in. This modern emptiness, it's just the psychological bill that comes due when you live in a world that offers you comfort without any real challenge, freedom without any meaningful responsibility, and endless pleasure without any underlying purpose. We took away the very things our minds need to feel whole. So that restlessness you feel, that vague ache of emptiness, that struggle to feel truly alive, it is not a symptom of decay. It is not a sign that you're broken. It is a healthy, powerful, and adaptive signal from a brain that is working perfectly, a brain that knows it was built for more than this. It's a signal that you need a burden, a meaningful responsibility, a difficult challenge. That feeling of emptiness isn't crying out for more happiness or more comfort, it's crying out for something worth carrying. And that, right there, is a question worth sitting with.